No, you don't need a team of 15 virtual assistants and hours throughout the day to create consistent and high quality digital content. In fact, our guest today is doing this consistently all by herself with nobody else on her team. Our guest today is Mina Yasuda from Guaranteed Rate. She's one of the top 1% mortgage originators in America and in the list of top producers in the country in the Scotsman's Guide for the year 2022. Awesome. So, Mina, thank you for coming on the show. And let me know. So, how did this journey of video creation begin for you, the social media creation?
Yeah, thinking back, I think I posted my first video ever back in either 2012 or 2013. But yeah, looking back at those moments, it's just funny. I still have the YouTube video up. It's currently privated, but I've still been debating on sharing it with certain people just to kind of confirm to everyone. Because many people, I feel like, say something along the lines of, oh, I just am not good on video. Oh, you seem like a natural. But I want to show everyone that video just to emphasize that I was not a natural on video and I still don't feel like I am. But ultimately, through time and I think being willing to suck at something, which is a big, I feel like, good philosophy to live by for anything you want to do because no one is born great at anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at least willing to try it and allowing your curiosity and just engagement and efforts to go into something that you're not too familiar with, like over time it just compounds more and more. And so thankfully from there it's gotten way better. But no, I was not always consistent. No, my lighting was not great. No, my background looked awful. But yeah, pretty much I think it's just a matter of starting that many people have an issue with, unfortunately.
Yeah, starting is key, and it's one of those things. So, you said you started on YouTube. Was that like the first video you did? Was it a YouTube video?
Yeah, it was a YouTube video. So, I mean, Reels, TikTok wasn't a thing back then. And
Mm-hmm.
so I posted one long video of me literally like not smiling once. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you about the mortgage process. Like, it
Oh.
was extremely uncomfortable to watch. And I feel bad for the 20 something people who may have watched that video.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm grateful that I did post it because that helped to at least start building the momentum of, eventually being a little more set up in a way that I want to, but I wouldn't have gotten there right off the bat if I didn't start with a crappy one. I was about to
Right.
cuss. My bad.
And we all start that way. Like, same thing. Like, I remember, like, oh, gung ho, and I click the record button. I just stared at the camera like it blank, just went completely blank. I'm like, words, say something, right? And it's like, oh, after thinking for like 2 minutes, I went back to the camera. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no, and I feel like the camera kind of seems to, and for me too, in the beginning it did. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized like for the people who do come across naturally on camera and such. And I also recommend for people who are thinking about starting to make video content, like genuinely when you're consuming the content yourself online or anywhere, notice when somebody's talking into a camera and it does feel natural and just try to audit it, you
Mhm,
know? Like actually think about why they're coming across so naturally.
mhm.
And many people have the ability to do it. It's just the whole physical camera being in front is what kind of freaks everyone out and kind of makes them like, their body language, everything changes.
Mhm.
But if you're able to manipulate your brain into thinking you're genuinely just talking to somebody, then that's how you come across naturally on camera. But it is difficult to switch that. But I try to
Right.
be very actively like, okay, I'm clicking record, then I'm talking about this topic. Just pretend like I'm talking to somebody
Yep.
as much as I can.
And that's what we train for. So a lot of our clients, that's what we say. Like, pretend that's a client. They walked in and they just asked you a question, right? So how would you answer that question? Right. So they asked you, you wouldn't be like, well, let me get my notes. Let me try to figure this out. Right. Somebody asked you, you would just start talking. Right. Oh, great
Exactly.
question. And just start going and start giving them the information. So, yes, I know it takes a while. Sometimes people get there faster than others. Right. But it's okay if you're not, quote unquote, perfect, camera ready to go. Like take your time, but just do it rather than not doing it, right? Your 100th video is going to be a lot better than your first video,
For
right?
sure. And the great thing about right now, I know, some people don't like the way the algorithms work with recommending ads to you and content and such, but I mean, everything's all perspective, right? But I choose to look at the algorithms as, you know what, I'm kind of grateful for it. Not when I spend on a random thing I don't need, of course, but at the end of the day, I bought it and I'm kind of happy about it. But no, I mean, when it comes to like educational content, I think it's incredible. So for me, like when I got more into, because I only got a nicer camera to make content less than a year ago. It hasn't been that
Mhm.
long. But when I got that and I started Googling lighting tips and all these different things, then I noticed a lot of the recommended posts to me were quick, short videos with genuine great tips that's actionable.
Right.
And little by little, thanks to the algorithms recommending me all those educational content without me
Mhm.
even searching for it, even in the quick trip to the bathroom, wherever you're consuming your content, like you're actually taking something away and that just continues to again compound.
Yeah, and that's what we say. It's about the information you're giving, right? Like can have the best camera, the best lighting, but if the information you're providing is terrible, nobody's going to watch the video, right? Same thing is the
Exactly.
other way. If you don't have the best stuff, but you're giving out like powerful information, people will keep watching, right? So don't worry, don't wait for like the perfect everything. Like just start producing content now, and then you'll get to whatever your quote unquote perfection is, right? In your own mind.
Yeah,
Um,
and like, a lot of people with social media, like they have this kind of with video and social media. I know when TikTok became big initially, there were a lot of the TikTok dances and that kind of thing going on. But I feel like, I correct me if I'm wrong, Carlos. I'm sure you've heard this too, but many people say like, "Oh, that's not me. Like I hate the whole social media." But that's because they're literally associating it with a video that made them feel that way. But it's
Correct.
kind of like the whole idea of sales. If you associate it with car salesmen, then you're not going to feel good about it. But if you associate it with, well, entrepreneurs, business owners, when people start up a business, they're selling something. When you're
Mhm.
trying to go out to Hawaii instead of, Europe with you and your partner in a relationship, you're selling one trip over another. But when you look at it in that way, then sales becomes great. But social media, same thing. I think too many people kind of associate it with the dancing videos and like that's
Yeah.
not me. I can't do that. I hate that. That's becoming a thing, but it doesn't have to be that thing. Consume the content, whatever's good to you. Again, audit it.
It does, and then everything adapts to what you like. All the algorithms eventually adapt to what you're looking for, right? And then everybody thinks like, yeah, that's for kids, right? Like they thought about that for Facebook, right? That's for young people. Then Instagram, oh, that's just for young people.
Yeah,
Then
ironically, Facebook now is like for old people.
right, exactly. And then it goes that way with everything, right? Facebook, it was like, it's just for young kids. And it was initially just for anybody in college or university, right? But then now everybody started going on it. Same thing with Instagram. First, it's just kids and their cars and their videos, right? Then everybody went on there. Same thing with TikTok. A couple of years ago, TikTok, that's just kids dancing. Why would I go on there, right? The amount of education I've also like stuff that I've learned from there, just scrolling, and then financial stuff or tax tips or content creation tips that I get on there. It's great.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And everything's with time. Like, and ultimately, I think it's just kind of reminding ourselves that we're business owners at the end of the day. We can be annoyed and old grandpas about back in my day that didn't exist and I hate that it exists now. But if we know statistically speaking that the people are spending time there, then as a business owner, whether you like dancing or not, or whatever you're associating it with now, you need to pay attention to it and see what actually ultimately helps to create a connection to you and your business and what other people are doing. And if people are spending time there, you have to have a presence there. It's kind of non optional. Imagine if somebody literally said the internet is going to, destroy humanity, whatever. I'm sure a lot of people said that when it was starting up. Imagine if those business owners never adopted having a website. They're probably
Right.
not even here anymore. So,
Exactly, and it's one of those things where it's like eventually some people do come around to it, right? Some people say, "Oh, well, I don't want to be on there, or my demographics not on there." But I also think of it more like it's a little bit more like a selfish that you're not on there because there's people searching for information, searching for help, right? Whether you
yeah.
think they are or they're not, they're out there, right? Or
And I
sometimes
actually
they
love
don't
that
know
you
what to
said
ask,
that.
right?
Yeah, because actually, the point you just brought up is how I got over the hunch of, because I'm Japanese and I grew up in a very Japanese household. So culturally speaking, right? Like my mom, dad both are from Japan. I speak Japanese, but yeah, in Japan or Japanese culture, for anyone who's not familiar, it's very much for everyone, not yourself, and it's not as much individualistic.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall, when it came to posting and having my face on a video and whatever, I hated the concept of, look at me, look at me. I was never the
Mhm.
girl who took selfies like in a video selfie that made everyone feel uncomfortable doing the duck face. I just felt like in the beginning I associated that with me putting video content out there. But then when I reminded myself of the fact that no, these are things people are genuinely wanting to know and not a lot of people are talking about. And so if a few people took value from one video I
Yes.
posted, then it's more of a service for others. It's not that I'm being vain or anything like that,
Right.
which it took me a while to get over to be able to post a little more consistently.
Yeah, and that's what I like. That's like the feedback sometimes I get from clients. Well, do they really want me to be on there? Like, my people are on there, or like, should I even be on there? Right? Like, yes, go on there, answer those questions. Like, it's
Yeah, we don't want to
okay.
see another stock photo of a, just a
Oh,
family that's cringy and it looks like plastic.
yeah, one of the videos I'm working on right now, it's like I literally go through a real estate agent's like Instagram, and I'm pointing at it like, don't do posts like this, like the most generic, nothing sort of posts, right? That don't
Yeah, and they're
provide any
surprised that it's
value.
not growing.
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's always the biggest thing, right? It's not. Yeah, I'm doing social media, and nothing's happening from there, and then I go on there, it's like it's just
I
the most
wonder why.
nothing post. It's like, yeah, yeah. I wonder why. So I want to get back to. I know that you're producing now. So how did you start ramping up to that? Like, how much did you start putting out initially at the beginning? Was it like one a week, one a day? How like, what was your initial content creation?
At the very beginning, not much, to be totally honest. Like, right when I first started, I mean, thankfully, I started playing around with the idea of it, but I didn't get consistent about it until, the pandemic when I really started to
Mhm.
focus in on creating content, putting it out there. But prior to that, it was more of the focus of, building your business and making money because, real estate mortgage, if we're not closing deals, we're not making any money.
Mhm.
And so initially, I would say for anyone starting out too, like, yes, focus on the branding aspect of it, especially now when information's so much more readily available than it was for me when I first started 10 years ago. But I think overall, yeah, focus on building your business in terms of having your phone ring, which may be a little bit more of the grunt work of making your calls, going and putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. Like I still remember going to, and I started when I was very young. I was 18 at the time. And so
Wow.
when I like would go into like a networking event because I didn't have anyone buying a house around me, but I went to Newport Beach or there was a Newport Beach yacht event for a bunch of realtors are going to be. And again, I didn't know anybody, but I parked my little car with a college tramp stamp on the back of my car. And I'm like sitting in the car for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, shoot, Mina, just go in there. Mina,
Uh,
just go in there. And I walk in and nothing really came out of it. It was definitely not my crowd, but I inserted myself in the conversations. But anyway, in the beginning, I think doing that kind of grunt work will continue to build your confidence because in a way for me after that event, that one stuck out to me a lot because nothing came out of it. But
mhm.
ironically, it gave me a lot more confidence in the fact that not many people my age would have been willing to walk into that room and
Right.
try to insert themselves into group conversations alone, right? And so
Mhm.
that's kind of how it started to build that momentum. But I would say if you're actively building out your brand overall, like in the recent years, what I've been noticing is you don't have to basically start from zero with the clients that get referred to you anymore, or even clients that find me on Yelp and things like that. Like people are going to Google you whether you like it or not. Like I
Yeah.
would, right? And if you pop up and before you even talk to that person, before you're aware of their existence, they already start getting an idea of who you are. So it warms up the leads for you without you even literally lifting a finger, is what I realized.
Yes.
And so through the years, it definitely amplified. Like, for example, on LinkedIn, I've closed surprisingly quite a few deals from LinkedIn specifically.
That's
And
awesome.
LinkedIn, the people who call me tell me they've been watching my videos for years and I didn't even know who they were. Right.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, little by little, that builds and builds and it turns into more and more of a snowball and it just builds your credibility. And also, just, I think the important thing is always being cognizant of like, don't look at a video and try to be that per se. Just present it as you would to a client. If you know
Yes.
that the service you're selling is good, then show what that service looks like.
Yeah, just be you. Just be you. Don't try to create a persona or try to be fake, because eventually they still have to meet you, right?
Exactly.
They still
Yeah. It's
have to
like
meet
the whole
you.
idea of I don't look good on video. Like,
Like,
you
okay,
look
but
the way you look.
yeah, you are you a different person when you meet them? Like, it's somebody else? Like, what do you put on something else? Like, what is it, right? It's like it's still
Exactly.
you. It's still the same person. But yeah, that's the other thing that you mentioned. LinkedIn is videos are always out there, right? They're always out there, and people can find them again, right? You're building that reputation with you, right? I had an interview with Christian Walsh, a real estate agent, and he said, yeah, the amount of times people call me after they research me, right? They might have seen one video or two, then they like do a full on research, and then they find everything that I've been putting out. It's like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. So they're already more comfortable, and they're already more in that either come list my home, or here's my, here's the property they want to buy. So they get more of those sort of leads because they already have that rapport with the person, because they feel like they
Exactly.
know them because they watched all the videos, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and I feel like that's the key. Everything kind of works together, right? It's not one thing. Like, sometimes I feel like newer agents might think, "Oh, I should just focus only on like social media shouldn't be the only pillar you rely on
Right.
for lead generation and such." But that's going to amplify every other lead generation strategy you have, is
Mhm.
what I recognized. And so I know like a lot of people expect like, oh, okay, Mina, one video you post, what type of, I guess, returns do you get from that one video?
Yes.
I don't know, and that's not the point, because at the end of the day, again, like for me, the way I was able to start focusing on video more was by focusing on the fact that I'm doing a service for people.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people are scared to contact you directly because they're either traumatized by the fact that, oh crap, they're going to call me like crazy now and I'm like
Mhm.
committed if I do that. And so many people linger around in that research stage, but that's where the opportunity is and that's where your business income in the future is going to be. And so might as well catch them there and start allowing people to realize maybe they're more ready than they thought they were, especially in the mortgage side. As you can imagine, so much misconceptions.
Oh,
I wouldn't be where I am today if I listened to the misconceptions and was not in this industry. I wouldn't be a homeowner, right? And so all those different things, I would focus more not really on the ROI. That becomes selfish, but more so on genuinely, why are you doing this? If you think you can give a service and educate people better than everyone else, do that with video. And that'll just help to build your brand and your reputation and just your value system, I guess, in general, where people can trust you, hopefully, if you have a
yeah.
good value system.
Don't put all your trust in that one magical video, right? It's like the same thing with all your other marketing. You don't just send out one mailer and say, this is the mailer that's going to capture all the leads, right?
Yeah, I'm
Or
gonna be a
this one
millionaire after
email
this.
that I'm sending out that's going to capture all the leads. Like, none of that's going to be that way. It's just like the all the marketing you're doing combined, everything needs to kind of work together and flow into each other, and all of that combined will start getting you more of those different leads that you want. And the other good thing about making video is sort of attracts the people that want to work with you, right? Like more people that are in the same sort of vibe, the same sort of like mindset as you. It starts attracting those type of people, and they already see you, they get to know you, and they already know like, okay, I want to work with this person, right? So you get kind
For
of like
sure.
more like a softer, easier sell, right? And that's what Christian was saying was he gets those people that are ready to go and work with him, and they're kind of like on the same sort of like persona, same sort of person as him. Like they're ready to go and they're happy to work with him because they know him already, right? And that's sort of like the
Exactly.
people you want, versus like he was saying, I stopped cold calling because they have no idea who I am, and I kind of have to work towards it to try to get them. Well, actually, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. I need to provide you so much information just to understand who I am, versus like the person calling me already understands who I am, right? It's
Exactly.
a lot easier of a sell for them, right?
Yeah. And like, I think A lot of people don't realize how many people actually genuinely look up information on these social media platforms, YouTube, and all of that. Like YouTube's surpassed Google, right, recently as like the top search engine in the world. And so, with all that considered, I mean, if we know again people are there, then you want to be on there, but also make your life easier. It's not fun and it's energy draining when you're having to talk to people you don't connect with and also
Yes.
they don't know you and they don't really want to talk to you anyway and they already get that vibe because they don't even give you a chance, right? But if you have a presence and people already get to know you and word spreads, and especially with the current demographic, at least for me, that I typically targets kind of the millennial generation. Of course, there are outliers in both directions,
Of
but
course.
they share videos like that I've posted and I was really surprised about it. And I think another thing that people get fearful of is being a try hard. Have you heard of anything like that?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think overall being a try hard, I hate that concept in general. I think you only come across as a try hard in a negative way when it's not something that is authentic to you in general.
Exactly.
Because I remember during the pandemic, another thing I started doing was just kind of taking up or I guess, acting on hobbies I used to have. Like, I kind of forgot for years. I focused so much on my business that I forgot that I had hobbies outside of my business. And so I started playing guitar again. I took up woodworking. I got really into plants and all these different things. And I would post about it. But in the beginning, I was really worried about posting my like soccer videos. Like, I got really into freestyle soccer. I don't know if you know what that is.
Awesome. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, when I posted about that in the beginning, I was scared that people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, look at Mina showing off." Like again,
Yeah.
the whole culture part came into my head with Japanese, but yeah, people are a lot kinder than we make them out to be, and everyone was just like so supportive. Even people I haven't talked to in decades. But again, it's just a matter of try it and see what response comes from it, and if it's validating, you're going to feel more momentum to want to do it more and all of that continues to snowball.
And they get to know that you're a real person, right? Like that you're not just faking it. Like this is actually you. This is who you are. These are your actual stuff, like hobbies that you're interested in, right? And so they get to
Yeah.
see that versus just like seeing business, business, business,
Yeah,
right?
I'm not just
Show
talking
them a
about
little bit
mortgage
of
backed
that.
securities all
Yeah.
day.
Exactly. Yeah. Show them the family, show them the hobbies, show them the different things that you do. You're a real person. And then that's another way to connect with people too, right? Like what if they have those same hobbies? Like they like that. Now they like you even more. So it's like it's just so many different ways to connect with the potential client that you can get out there, right? So it's pretty cool.
Exactly.
I want to go back to the content right now. Like how many videos are you putting out right now?
Right now, I would say at least one a week is what I've kind of gotten into the rhythm of.
Hmm.
I've tried to do more some weeks, and then of course things get busy and all those different things. But I think ultimately, I always try to take away as much friction as possible to create and put out content.
Hmm.
And I think that's another thing people kind of tend to look at the whole process of creating content as like this huge mountain to climb.
Right.
But just simplify it. If you get
Yes.
asked a question, you hop off a call with the client, or sometimes what I do, literally, I would record while I'm having a conversation with the client. And so certain reels, I'm looking not really directly at the camera, I'm on the phone. And so
Right.
genuinely, like that can be content too. But whenever I think of an idea, I just click record. And so I know some people have a systemized way of dedicating a day and having like a studio and recording a bunch of videos in different outfits.
Right.
To me, it just felt like a huge mountain of things to do
Hmm.
to have that systemized where, who, how, all these different things. So again, I kept it so simple, like stupid simple. Literally click record. I have a button that turns my light on and off. And yeah, stupid simple. So I will actually do it because I know myself well enough to know that if I have to do a million steps before I record content, I'm never going to do it.
No, you're not. And that's why like we teach having your video creation station. Like have a little spot where you can just do that, right? Like click that button. I have the same thing. Oh, there goes my light. Right?
Yeah,
It's like a quick little
exactly.
button that just like I sit down, here's the camera, and I can record, right? Or like you said, just grab your phone. Like sometimes people make too much out of it. Like it's simple. Here's my phone, record, that there's your video. right? You don't
Yeah.
have to have a lot of crazy, flashy stuff. I know everybody sees like this perfect post on Instagram, right? Or TikTok. They're like, they have the lights and the graphics and everything else. Like, you don't really need all of that. Just put out content that resonates with people, like that actually answers questions, right? That helps
Yeah, and
people.
that comes with time. Like after a while, like we talked about earlier, the algorithms will recommend to you, "Oh, did you know this cool transition is neurologically and psychologically proven to catch people's attention?" Oh, noted. And then you might add that to your next video. But all of that again improves with time, but you don't have to know all of it. I don't know all of it. I'm still like
Yeah.
honestly, I look at it as not like a challenging mountain I have to enforce to climb because of the way the world is right now, but I look at it as kind of fun. Ultimately, it's creative and you get to try a lot of different things and it's more like fun to learn about, oh, there's a new transition or graphic thing that people are
Hmm.
recommending using. Like that's actually really cool. Not another thing. It's all just perspective.
Yeah, another thing to learn, right? No,
Exactly.
it's definitely perspective, and I think that's how, when you simplify it, it just makes it easier, because other people they think it's going to be too much, right? Or they think they need to do this many a day plus this plus that. Like, you don't have to, right? You can
Yeah, I was
just
never consistent. If you look at my date stamps of my posts, never consistent, But a lot of people kind of I don't know, like many people have commonly assumed that I have this huge process where I script and do this and do that and do that. And I'm like, ah, am I a fraud because of my it's so stupid simple what I do?
I think it's
But
you're
anyone
doing a
can do
great
it.
job of it. That's why. Like, I think you're doing such a great job that it
Oh,
comes
thank you.
across that way. It's like, wow, like, do you have like a whole production and team? But that's why I'm trying to let people understand that you can come across that way without having, like 15 other people behind the scenes working on everything, right? Like, you don't need
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, no, not at all. And like, yeah, like I'm busy. It's not like I'm, a social media person full time. Like, no, like I have a lot of files active. I had to get docs out right before our call here, but you can make time for it. I think not having time ultimately is just you're choosing not to prioritize your time to do that at the moment. Like I
Mhm.
feel like people should reframe their thinking around not having enough time to go to the gym, not having enough time to eat healthier. You have time. I mean, I catch myself like I got really into this one documentary series at like 10 p.m. and I couldn't stop. And I watched like 4 episodes and there goes like 3.5 hours. But like I made time for that.
Right.
I could go to the gym for half an hour if I really, really wanted to. I just chose not to make it a priority, but it just puts you back in control over what you're choosing to prioritize and what you're not.
Yeah, well, I guess like, oh, I don't have 2 hours to film a video, but then they tell me I had a terrible open house this week and I only had one person come in. It's like, so you were somewhere for 5 hours and you maybe met one person that might have been like a neighbor or some kid walking around, or you could have spent 1 hour making one, two, three videos that could they're 24/7 out there all the time trying to make you money, right? So it's like,
Exactly. Even half an hour. Again, it doesn't have to be highly produced. Like
yeah.
for me, because I've gotten my reps in now, right? Like my video editing and the fancier transitions and things I add on. I mean, first off, it's drag and drop. It's not that crazy.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it doesn't take me that long. Like after I hit record, I usually just do one take if I have an idea. I talk into the camera. I pause for a bit if I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. But all of that's recorded in one long video segment.
Yeah.
And then I upload the video and thanks to, more technology nowadays where there's automatic silence detection where they'll cut the video for you, take out all the quiet gaps. And so you don't have to do like that took me the longest before. But now with a click of a button, that's gone. And then I just drag and drop a couple transitions and then I'm done in maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Awesome. What software do you use?
I personally use, and I've been using it for years. I'm thinking about possibly transitioning because I'm like starting to get fancier. What's it called? Different content thrown at you. Once you get
Uh-huh.
into lighting, it's wild how a couch with a TV on and a family sitting there, there's like a million lights around them, right? It gets crazy.
Right.
But anyway, bottom line, I still use, and I've been using since probably like at least maybe 7 years now. Wondershare Filmora.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
but
make
that's a
sure to
really
put that.
good beginner video editing software.
Awesome. Okay, and that was the one you started with initially?
Yeah, and I still use it to this day.
Okay.
Yeah, because everything else that legitimate like cinematographers, like movie makers use, like it could be like the Adobe or it could be what's it called, Da Vinci and all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of functionality, but it's not as simple as the
It's
drag and
not.
drop and like everything, scissors. Oh, it's to cut the footage. Like, it's a lot simpler in Wondershare Filmora, which I personally liked the simple, easy aspect of it.
And a lot of those already have a lot of that stuff, transitions, right? It's like literally just click it, put it there, click this, put it there, right? Like it's
Yeah,
it's that simple, and they've made it that simple, and it's been getting simpler and like
exactly.
easier, and they're adding more stuff because people want to create content without having to go to college and learn or watch YouTube
Yeah.
videos all the time and learn. So it's pretty simple. That's awesome. So when you sit down and film, how long does it usually take you to kind of like put a couple of those graphics in and get that video done, kind of ready to post?
Yeah, like after I film, I would say maybe 30 minutes. If my computer is lagging hard, sometimes my computer does,
The
then it might
computer.
take me like 45 minutes. But yeah, I would say usually half an hour at the most
Hmm.
is how long it would take. And it depends on if I'm being a little more like, just in the mood to try something more creative or if I'm just
Right.
trying to get information out, right?
Right.
Like if I'm just trying to get information out, it's super simple. Zoom in, zoom out, one transition here, auto caption on my phone, post. And so that's really, really quick. But yeah, other times I just feel like, ooh, they uploaded new templates and graphics. Let me take a look at that. And I'm just scrolling through it for fun.
Awesome. Then you start checking it out. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
So then what do you use then to schedule? Do you schedule the post or do you just publish them directly after you're done editing them?
Usually, after I'm done editing them and I have it on my phone, depending on the time I finish it up, I might wait to post it.
Hmm.
And so I don't really do the scheduling feature, but I just have in my notes the caption and the hashtags I'm going to post. So I can just copy and paste it when I do eventually post it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, not necessarily scheduling it out for long in advance. And again, eventually I'm sure I want to get there, but just to alleviate the pressure for people wanting to start,
Yeah.
I still basically am still kind of like, okay, I made content. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow morning. Apparently that's a good peak time, and I just wait and I post it later.
Awesome. And then do you post it where right now? Are you posting it on Instagram only or are you cross platform?
Right now, I'm focusing on trying. Well, right now, Instagram primarily is where majority of my video content was posted, and
Hmm.
LinkedIn too.
LinkedIn.
I've
Yeah.
been pretty good about posting, yeah, on Instagram and LinkedIn, but I've been trying to get myself to post all my past reels and such onto YouTube Shorts.
Hmm.
That's one of the next steps for me. But the tricky part too is YouTube Shorts only allows for 1 minute, and
1 minute.
some of my videos might go a little over. But also, aside from YouTube, TikTok,
Right.
I need to get better at posting all of the past videos I've done onto TikTok because yeah, that was when TikTok came around, it made me feel old too. Just because I'm like, dang, I thought I had the whole social media thing. I was especially on the mortgage side, I think average age is 59, 60. I was definitely on the younger spectrum. So I was like, woo, I know all the tech stuff. And TikTok came about and I
You're
Googled
like, no.
TikTok for beginners. Like I don't
Hey,
get it.
it happens to all of us. Any new thing that comes out, that's like, I asked my son, he'll know right away about it. But I'm
Oh,
going in there like, what is this? No, I feel old. I just got another gray hair right now talking to you. Right? It's like
exactly.
that's how what. So when did you start seeing like, hey, wait, this actually could work? Like I'm starting to get comments and potentially phone calls or leads. Like, how did that come about?
I think in 2020 when I started posting more consistently. Because in 2020 was when I went a lot more into creating more and more content. And again, it was like 2020 was my pivotal year when I realized I'm just educating people. I'm actually helping people by posting, right? And so that got me more excited to share. And I'm kind of a economics nerd, so I was reading up and consuming even like just as a hobby even, right? Because during that year, the rates were going crazy. We blink and everyone's talking about how the Feds dropped the rates to 0%. That does not mean mortgage rates are zero, but people were calling me left and right. So I was just trying to get information out there.
Right.
I started posting a lot more and creating more videos. So I noticed my editing getting better and better. And also just the format became more shorter form. I used to make longer form and I had to transition there. But it was more of a necessity to get information out, especially with the amount of phone calls I was getting and so much misinformation. So after I started posting more consistently is when I started recognizing the amount of engagement started to increase, my follower count started to increase, and also just more people who call me or more people who talk to me about buying a house or whatever. I started to recognize a lot of them will always mention some kind of video I posted.
That's
And
great.
so that's, I think, when I started noticing it actually really coming into fruition. So posting more and also just focusing on the education.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always great when like you see it, right? Like I know you hear it, like you have to post more, you have to do videos, right? But when you actually start seeing the results, like that's awesome. Like that's what I love when I get like a text message or something from one of my clients. It's like, hey, I got a lead, or hey, somebody called me. Oh, they said they
Yeah.
watched my video, right? Or even like the best ones, like they recognized me at the store, right? Hey, they saw me and say, hey, you're that guy, right?
Oh,
Like, yeah,
actually, yeah. And like, again, like you don't need a huge following count like for this to work for you. Like for me, like my page is not crazy. It's like 1,400 followers, but even that's gotten me business, right?
yeah.
And I remember I went to the dog park with my dog and it was just me and my dog and someone random came up to me and like, "Hey, is your name Mina by chance?" And I look up and I'm like, "I have no idea who this person is." And they're like, "Are you Mina Mortgage? I watched a lot of your videos. It kept showing up on my explore page." But
Yes.
again, you don't need tens, hundreds of thousands of followers at all. And all the whole organic, reach like that comes with just you being there
Yeah.
and actually posting something.
Yeah, if you're not gonna be there, somebody else will show up, right? Like if you're not making the video, somebody else who made a video, even if they just made a few, they'll show up instead of
Yeah, and
you.
maybe they suck and maybe they're, just not actually ethically good. Like you want to
Exactly.
make sure you're in front if you are the one that can take care of that client better.
Yeah, that's what I always say. You're selfish for not making video because there's people out there that need your help or they're being scammed by somebody else, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a guy on TikTok who reacts to videos of people leaving all these tax advice or tricks, right? And then he'll be like, "Yeah, don't do that unless you want to go to jail. Yeah, don't do that. That's a total scam, right? Or no, that's not how the law works." It's like, yes, because there's people out there just giving out some fake information, right? But when you're the one giving the correct information, like you start to stand out above
Yeah.
everybody else, right? And you're actually helping people. So what is next? What's next for Mina Mortgage? Like, what's next for you, your channels, and all your social media? What's next for you?
I think in terms of video side, I want to start focusing back on longer form content on YouTube and such.
Hmm.
And so that's been one of my strategies too, but also just, yeah, getting more intentional about kind of thinking ahead to certain anything I'm doing. I want to actually, and it's kind of fun to have like a journal of your life in some way, an
Yes,
aspect, right? And that's the way I started looking at a lot of video on more like my personal page too. It's like I do want to look back at one quick minute long video and remember that trip and see the emotions in people's faces. So I have gotten a lot more passionate about capturing those type of moments, while still enjoying the moment, of course, but also, just throwing my camera out and like taking a quick video of anything, right? And
of
so that's going
course.
to be something I want to work on. But also, I think eventually I'll have to just outsource the video editing part of it a little bit more. But thankfully, with AI, it has actually, I mean,
Hmm.
compared to before, I'm like, wow, some people hired people to do exactly this that works with one button now.
Hmm.
And so that does give me a little more relief on trying to post more consistently. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I think overall, it still kind of blows my mind how much reach anyone for free can get on the
Yes.
internet nowadays, especially social media. And yeah, the more people start to recognize that, I think it'll be easier for you to just show up on there. And if, kind of like what you just mentioned, the type of content someone posts is literally taking someone else's post and reacting to it and
Hmm.
talking about how that's wrong and that's their style of posting. Maybe that's not the way I do it, but anyway, can be successful. You just have to find whatever you're comfortable doing and whatever
Hmm.
fits you. But there's no right or wrong. There's no, oh, I have to film exactly the way Mina has her studio set up. Like, no, like there are so many different formats that work. And people are going to gravitate towards you if you're just being naturally yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're just being you, help those people, answer those questions, get them in, and all the stuff that you're putting out there. It's a 24/7 thing, right? You don't know when they're gonna come across it, right? You don't
Yeah.
know when they're gonna see or when they realize they need help, and then you are the one answering the question, and now they're binge watching all the different videos, right?
Yeah, and real estate people have the toughest time following up and such is statistically true. And when you make one video and if you have all of your clients on your social media and such, you're following up with them not with an automated, weird, corporate-y looking templated, email newsletter, but
Mm-hmm.
they're reminded that you're there. They're reminded that you're the expert. And then in the middle of that, if I post something I made in my wood shop,
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, shoot, I didn't know you do that. But that just continues to build that connection with the people you've already worked with too. And that leads to more clients too. It's not just for new lead generation. I think one of the biggest things for me too that I forgot to mention, client retention and just consistent referrals come more naturally
Oh
if you are
yes.
active on social
Yeah.
media.
Talk to me about that. Yeah. When did you start getting referrals from people who either saw your content or were your clients before?
Yeah, like when I first started in the industry, like, yeah, just like everyone, I was terrible at keeping in touch with my past clients. And social media allowed me to do that so much more naturally because they would reach out to you, they would comment on your story, they would do this, they would do that. But all of that, it's not as intrusive as you calling, hi, what up? It's Mina, your mortgage person that did your loan 2 years ago. How's it going? Like,
Right.
I mean, I personally, if I get a call like that, I'm like, okay, dude, I'm busy. I'm good. Okay,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
And so it's a less intrusive way to be top of mind with a lot of people. But yeah, I guess to answer your question directly, I started noticing it helping more when I started posting more about my hobbies. So posting more about life in general, paired with reminding everyone that you are, in fact, knowledgeable about what you do. I think that's what kind of created more engagement with past clients I worked with who I'm not going to, talk about my dog too much when I'm actually transacting or walking that client through the process. But then after closing, they want to talk about that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh, shoot, did you ever get that new front door? I just got a new front door too. Oh my gosh, I got a new installation and it was a total mess. I didn't know that it worked like that. They're like, oh, do you know an installation person? But those kind of conversations helped the spark and again, stay top of mind. And I got a lot more past client referrals that way when I started getting a lot more active about posting in general about what I'm doing. Because that's why people follow you. They want to know what you're up to. And you're a lot more interesting than you give yourself credit to be.
Yeah, yeah. Give yourself credit for what you're doing, right? And then people will follow you. We're excited for you. Like me, you stood out, obviously. That's why we're like, hey, we have to talk to Mina, right? You stood out. So it's like, hey, let's have her on. And like just
No,
the
I
fact that
appreciate
it's
it.
only you and it's not like a team of 15 people producing and doing all that stuff, like that's amazing, right? And that's why I wanted to get across to people. It's like you don't need that, right? Like, look at Mina. Look at all the amazing stuff she's putting out there, and it's not a whole
Yeah, no,
team,
I
a
appreciate
whole
the kind
team
words. And I
behind
agree
her.
with you. The main thing I always try to emphasize is I'm not that special. I don't have this, born, filming or video editing knowledge. Like it all came with time, but yeah, literally anyone can do it. It's just, I think, well, one, it starts with shifting how you look at putting out video content. I'm not dancing to a beat and pointing at random facts really awkwardly. Like if that didn't come across authentic to you, don't do that. You don't have to do that.
Right.
And so just pick your style, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Awesome. Well, Mina, thank you so much for coming on. Like, I really appreciate it. We wish you the best and looking forward to seeing everything you're going to do. We're going to follow you closely, and we're going to put all your information below so people can follow you and then watch you on your journey.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, if you want to continue learning more about digital media, how to grow your brand and your business online, then click the video that's on the screen right now. We're going to go deeper into this topic and show you some other cool and useful strategies that will help you build a scalable and thriving business. Click on it now, and I'll see you there.